All right, Jarrell, maybe we'll address some of the questions for your presentation. Yep, if you could come up to the podium, you can address these questions. The first question is, Jarrell, do you know how many registered users there are for class?
No, that would be a question for the NOAA class folks for that particular question.
All right, Jarrell, I've noticed there's an upper limit to the number of files you can place in one order on class. How do you put in a request for a large number of files via class other than submitting many orders?
To my knowledge, for huge database requests, you have to go through the NOAA class folks. So it'll be definitely an inquiry to the help desk, and they'll work with you on your inquiry.
Okay, great. Next question, Jarrell. Where are the new caps products on class? Remember, new caps we heard about from Dan earlier today.
Should I just show?
Sure.
No problem. If you actually go back to the NOAA class website, which is actually shown on the screen, as you see that there's an array of different products out there. There should be one that has JPSS cross-track infrared sounder with the advanced technology microwave sounder, or ATMS, EDRs. I believe you click on that and click go. And once it loads, give it a second or two. There you go. Let's see here. Yeah, it should provide the new cap soundings here, which you see here, highlighted by my cursor. So it have the new caps EDRs. So, yeah, go ahead.
In this one, that's only the CRIMS previous stuff. I found this a little bit earlier. You go back to your menu up top, and instead of the CRIMS EDR, you go down a little bit to JPSS _ SNE. It's at the very bottom of your list right now as well.
Where at again?
JPSS Sounder Products.
Oh, yeah, I forgot there was the secondary one. Okay, that's right, that's right. So for that particular question, go to the JPSS Sounder Products tab there, and that would have your information on all the new caps data there. And then you can go through the process there. There you go, with the new caps EDRs there, and also supplemental new caps data. So, was that the last question for me, Jordan?
I did want to.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to add something that, in addition to this way of getting data from class, we also have a rotating directory file, which you may not know about, or Eric doesn't know about. So let me show you how that works. So one of the things I wanted to point out that if you want to learn more about the algorithms, you go to the JPSS star website. So if you just Google JPSS star, oops, you get this homepage. And Eric is interested in sea ice, right? So let's say you go to sea ice, cryosphere. These are a list of all the products. There's a lot of information on this website. You can monitor the products, the radiances, you know. But anyway, you go to sea ice, for example. Oops, did I do that right? Yeah. And so there'll be a description. They'll say Jeff Key is the team lead. They'll describe the product. There's ATBDs, things like that. And this is the product at class that you were referring to. But it's a secret website. It's not so secret, but because now I'm telling you. But if you go to the FTP, the last 90 days.
Oh, I did have that on the side.
Oh, okay, you did have that?
It was just a link. It wasn't the actual.
Oh, so you scroll. So this is for people not wanting to use a web interface. So for example, you can go to January 5th. And then you have all these directory structures. Then if you wanted the VIRS EDRs, you can click on that if you're looking for sea ice. And here's like sea ice concentration, VIRS ice surface temperature. You click on that. You click on its subdirectory called NPP. And then that's a tar file. So that's all for yesterday's data. So if you're looking for easy way of looking at yesterday's data or the last 90 days, you can grab it that way, drag it to your desktop, and then take a look at it. I think it's updated periodically during the day. So for example, if you go to, like you talked about the 6 hours.
Yeah.
I think these things are posted, updated every 6 hours, and then later, I think the next day, it's accumulated into one tar file. So if you look at for example, let's go back to the 6th, so today, right? And you go to Veer's EDR again. Yep, that's something else. Let's see, if you go to, that is Veer's EDR, so that doesn't, second one from where? Yeah, but that was a little bit different. That's the imagery EDR. So that's interesting. I wonder why that looks a little bit different. Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit different. So something happens on the current day for some reason. All right, so the current day looks different, and then it must be updated somewhere else. So Veer's EDR, you can get like vegetation index, NPP. I think that's just a part of the day. So anyway, that's how you would navigate. So if you were doing retrospective studies and it's only the last like 90 days, this would be an easy way of getting the data. So if I go back to the 5th, if I look at NDE level 2, I think that's where new caps is contained. Yep, new caps, EDRs, you have the mere sounding products. So anyway, this is a different way. So if you're interested in looking at yesterday's data, this is actually the easiest way of grabbing data from class. You just drag the whole directory over.
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jarrell and Dr. Goldberg. All right, we will continue with our questions for Kathy. First question for Kathy is, how many direct broadcast sites does SIMS have access to?
The answer is I don't know exactly how many. I'd have to look it up, but that question is interesting. You have access to a lot of sites and manage.
If
You have to
it's
use
a-
the microphone,
yeah.
Kathy, I'm sorry.
We have access to a lot of sites. We have access to a number of sites. We manage a few of the sites. How many, I don't have an exact number. I'd have to look it up, Bill.
All right, thank you. We'll continue with the next question for Kathy. I didn't see any GCOM data in the Bolt browser website, but I thought you mentioned this in your presentation. Is this a capability that exists, or will it at some point?
So it does exist. The website that I gave was just the JPSS website, but there's actually a website for each satellite. So there is a GCOM subdirectory, and that's what I responded to. Mitch, actually, I replied to that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We will have that archived. And finally, Aaron Letterly, if you'd come back to the stage, we've got two questions for you. While he's coming up, the first question is, would it be of value that once we get enough satellite data, can we look at years that are similar to 2018 that could give you an idea of what to expect in March? Do this instead of strictly going on climatology?
That's a good question. Short answer, yes, that would be very valuable. That was actually what I was going to try to do when I set out to make this short course. But it turns out a lot of these products, they haven't been archived very well or at all where I could find them. And I asked some of my coworkers that are in charge of making them, have you stored the data? And they said, well, since November of 2017 we have. And so there's your 90 days, and that's all you get. I was able to find snow depths back to 2015. But I think having a repository of all of these would be awesome. You could look at these products, and you could find years that were sort of synoptically similar to the conditions you're expecting for the race in year X or Y. And then you could compare it with similar products from past years, and that would be probably the most effective way to do this. So yeah, great question. That'd be very valuable to have that.
And then your second question is, has anyone validated these products for one of the Iditarods?
That's a hard no. It would be really cool to have, Murti and I were just discussing a following vehicle in this Iditarod race, but I think besides the automated snow gauges that are across Alaska in the first place, there's no one going out along this doing a transect or following this route and measuring depth at every spot. After I saw this question posted, I looked on the Iditarod website on their checkpoints page, which I just kind of complimented, and I realized they don't actually have anything about surface conditions at these checkpoints. They simply have when the mushers arrived, how fast they were going, and what time they left. So there's definitely room for improvement along as just even keeping a record of these observations for the race or during the race by, the 18 to 15 checkpoints along this track. You could begin to create sort of this wealth of surface observations that maybe you could use to validate or begin to validate some of these products. So no one has done it. Yes, someone should do it. So.
All right, thank you. And that puts us right on time for our lunchtime speakers.
Thank you, Jordan, and all the speakers.